Hello, everyone. This time we'll talk about geometry. So let me begin with a simple history about this new field of mathematics. So it actually began in Egypt. So if you're not aware, they're very conscious during those times regarding their land areas. But however, they have a problem. So when it rains, the Nile River will flood. And if that happens, the land boundaries would probably be changed. So that's why they tried to establish rules for measuring and dividing land areas. But during this time, despite the fact that these rules are already the concepts that under geometry, they have not organized it, they have not named it. So later part, the Greeks systematized the existing knowledge. And during this time, they call it as geometry. So originally, the concept of geometry started with division of lands. So that's why geo means earth or land and metri means to measure. Or in other words, a basic definition of geometry is simply to measure earth or land. With that, here are some first geometers. So we have Thales, Pythagoras, Aristotle, and Plato. So Pythagoras is one of the most, I would say, one of the most familiar figure under geometry. It's because of his concept of Pythagorean theorem together with his team. So I would like to clarify something that Pythagorean theorem is not merely a concept only from Pythagoras, but it's actually a group of mathematicians. It's just that Pythagoras is the leader. So the Pythagorean theorem were identified by a group of people, wherein the leader is Pythagoras. But among all the first geometers, um, the father of geometry is Euclid. So why is it that Euclid is so called as a father of geometry? It's because he's the first one who first compiled all this geometric knowledge in a book. And this book is so called as Elements. So with that, there's already a record and we're able to improve the knowledge under it based from what is indicated in his book. So in other words, this book serves as a foundation of coming up with the current knowledge that we have under geometry. So, on the current time, geometry has become very useful in improving our living. So, especially in the field of architecture, engineering, and physics. So, going back, based from history, it's really originally about measuring land, making sure that despite the flood, there's a certain rule that will govern the division of land areas. So looking at a land like this, so this is a sample of a land. So in a land, you'll definitely see points, okay? Because land is composed of points. And then, if you try to connect 2 points at a time, you will be seeing lines as well. And if we try to enclose a certain land using these lines, we'll be able to come up with plane. So that is why we're able to come up with more detailed definition of geometry, in which it is a branch of mathematics that deals with points, lines, and planes. So basically, the reason why it's a big deal to have points, lines, and planes in geometry. It's because this is what compose a land. So that leads us to an idea that we're here to examine their properties, their measurements, and their mutual relationship to each other. And points, lines, and planes are also one way for us to really define the other vocabulary or terminology under geometry. So that's it. So for our next topic, we'll talk about the following terms: points, lines, and planes.